friends. Welcome to the Creative Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Caldwell, and I'm so happy you're here. Each episode, I take some time to chat with fellow artists about life, faith, and the impact of the arts.
I think there's this excitement, even as it's spring outside, we feel this kind of new beginning and transformation, and a lot of hope for the arts. And I think there's this need for joy, for inspiration, for encouragement, and artists can provide that, now and into the future.
Welcome to episode 41. I'm so excited you're joining me today. Are you subscribed to the podcast? If not, today is the perfect day to subscribe. It was such a joy to catch up with Krista Bower. Krista is the chair of the Belhaven University Dance Department in Jackson, Mississippi. She has such a beautiful spirit and heart for others. Our conversation today is equal parts Krista's personal journey as a dancer and her sharing more about the dance program at Belhaven. Krista earned an MFA in Choreography from Jacksonville University and a BFA in Dance from Belhaven University. She has served on staff for the USA International Ballet Competition, and she also owns and directs the Yazoo City School of Dance. As a professional dancer, Krista performed with Living Water Dance Company and later co-founded Front Porch Dance, a Mississippi-based contemporary dance company. Krista is also a founding instructor of the Dance for Parkinson's program in Jackson, Mississippi. I enjoyed hearing Krista's perspective on leading through the pandemic and insights from her role as a teacher and mentor. We talk about what the transition was like when Krista came in as the chair of the Belhaven University Dance Department. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you've definitely heard us mention Belhaven. Belhaven University is close to my heart as a former student, and I love that we have this opportunity to chat about the key elements of the dance program and what makes it so unique. If you've been curious about the program's bachelor's or master's degree opportunities, this is a great way to learn more. And for my fellow alumni, I hope you enjoy hearing about the continued development of the department. Enjoy my conversation with Krista Bower. Grateful to have you on the podcast today. And for those that are listening, I'm here with Krista Bower. Do you want to just share a little bit about who you are and kind of what you're up to currently?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Krista Bower, and I live in Jackson, Mississippi. Right now, I'm the chair of the dance department at Belhaven University, which is a private Christian college. And we have a thriving dance department with about 100 dance majors and minors and graduate students. So it's an honor to lead that program. And I'm married to my husband of almost 14 years. We met at Belhaven and we have 3 kids. So We're juggling lots of things, but we are really grateful to be here in Mississippi and serving in this capacity.
Yeah, for sure. That's so cool. And that's really fun that y'all met at Belhaven as well. That's really fun. And it's cool that being an alum and then coming back into a leadership role or a teaching role and then into a leadership role. So that'll be fun to hear more about that journey and kind of what it's been like on the other side, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't have imagined, as an 18-year-old moving from Michigan to Mississippi, that would have been part of my future story, that I would one day lead the department. So
right, exactly.
A big honor.
For sure. Well, kind of speaking of, how did you first get into the dance world and start that journey?
Yeah, I started dance classes at the age of 4. So I think my parents saw me improvising in the living room and knew that I had this interest in movement and dance. And they found a great studio in Michigan. And I just fell in love with it. I loved the creative exploration, but also the discipline of dance training, and was able to learn an environment that really fostered a sense of creative exploration, and was taking both classical ballet, but also modern classes even as a kid, and learning that's dance great. Composition. Yeah, very unique. I didn't realize till later in life how unique that studio was.
Yeah.
And then got really pretty focused in my ballet training in the high school years, and decided I wanted to pursue dance at the collegiate level, and looked at all different universities across the country, and ultimately decided I wanted to study at a Christian university. And there were only a handful of them, and there still are only a handful of Christian universities that have dance departments. And I chose Belhaven, and the program was really new at the time. It had only been around for about 4 years. So it was kind of exciting to be a part of the university, a part of the dance department in those early days of the program, and now to have been a part of it for so long and to see it continue to grow and help to be a part of its story into the future.
Yeah, that's so neat. So when you decided to go to Belhaven, were there any other factors that went into that decision, or was it pretty much like just wanting to find a college that combined both, a Christian university and a dance program?
Yeah, I had visited Belhaven. I had attended some summer workshops with Ballet Magnificat, which is a Christian ballet company based in Jackson. So I'd spent some time on the campus and then also was able to attend a USA International Ballet Competition event as an audience member before I started college. So I had this little connection to Jackson. And then when I visited and auditioned for the department, just saw that there was a high standard of excellence in the dance training, but also faculty who really seemed to care about their students and who wanted to shape them not just as dancers, but as humans and as Christ followers. And it was very unique, and thought, I want to be in a place where I can look up to these teachers as mentors. And so decided to come and never looked back.
That's so cool. What was the department like when you were there as a student? How big was it? And what was the flow at the time?
Yeah. So the building that you're familiar with wasn't around.
That's right.
So we were in a whole different studio building. So we had 3 studios back then, and definitely a smaller program. I would guess maybe closer to 50 students at the time that I was there. Very close knit with the students and smaller faculty, but had lots of access to faculty members. And yeah, I think the program has just continued to deepen its roots and to grow. And as the years have gone on, we've been able to expand in our facilities, but also in the size of our faculty and staff. And that has enabled us to grow the size of the student body. And we've attracted people from all over the country and even internationally who want to study dance.
Yeah, that's true.
Environment.
That's so neat. And did you guys used to perform on the stage in kind of the chapel area?
Yeah, we did a few performances there, but that building's called the Center for the Arts at Belhaven University.
Yes, there we go. Well, you think you'd never forget those things.
Yeah. The space you might be familiar with where the theater department often performs, that was kind of a flexible black box theater space. We used to do dance performances there. So we would actually construct a sprung floor back in that time and kind of snap together. And then we would lay the marley on top and set up all the pipe and drape and lights and perform in that space. And that was before the beautiful Bitsy Irby Visual Arts and Dance Center was built in 2005. And now we have a beautiful performance space there.
It is so beautiful. And I love all the natural light and the windows. And it's just such a special building and a neat place. And I'm glad that it's continuing to grow and develop at the school there. So after college, what was kind of your next step?
Yeah, when I finished, my first job out of school was actually working for the USA International Ballet Competition. It was a competition year and they hire lots of staff members, and I was the assistant to the dance school administrator. So that was a short-term position, but was able to help produce the dance school and the teacher training program that goes alongside the competition. So for any listeners who aren't familiar, the USA International Ballet Competition is almost like the Olympics of ballet. So Jackson, Mississippi is the host city for this event in the US. And it happens every 4 years. And beautiful ballet dancers at the highest caliber come from all over the world and compete for gold, silver, and bronze medals. And alongside the competition, there's a summer intensive dance workshop for younger students. So they train all day with master teachers. And in the evenings, they get to watch the performances and be inspired by these world-class artists. And then there's also a teacher's workshop. So teachers can come and study with master trainers and also be a part of all the festivities of the competition. So it was
really neat.
Yeah. It's so amazing to have this world-class event right in Jackson. And
kind of all places, you're like, wow, this is right here. Exactly. In our backyard.
Yeah. So I think even that early position kind of established this love of arts administration and the production side, the management side of the field of dance. And I'm thankful for that stepping stone right out of college. And then I returned to the USA International Ballet Competition in 2010 and 2014, directing the dance school and teacher training program. So it became kind of this every 4-year position that I stepped into for that temporary basis. Really enjoyed the opportunity to work in that capacity.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure gaining, like you said, a lot of the skills that are probably things you use every day now, or,
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of the time in that administrative role. So
Yes.
that's really neat. And just coordinating.
Right. Yeah. I think that position really helped prepare me for the chair position. I didn't know that at the time that that was a part of my
Yeah.
future, but just the coordinating of faculty and staff and students and schedules and those many details. So,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And then I know that you also started a studio. When did that happen in the timeline?
right about the same time.
Okay.
So that summer, I was looking at kind of, that was a short-term position with the ballet competition and wondering, what's next after that. And one of my friends from Belhaven was running a dance program in a small town called Yazoo City in Mississippi. It's about a 15-minute drive north of Jackson. And she was moving to New York City to pursue dance opportunities and was looking for someone to kind of assume ownership and directorship of that program. And
Gotcha. Okay.
that spring, I went and visited and helped out with her spring performance and just fell in love with the community and realized just the uniqueness of this place, that she was able to provide dance education for an area that didn't have much access. People were traveling in from all the little small surrounding towns to be able to study dance, and
Gotcha. Yeah.
saw the need, the opportunity, and also just the privilege to be a part of that community. So decided to establish the business. So changed the name to Yazoo City School of Dance and launched a website and started, marketing, and was able to continue training many of her students, but also attracted more. And this would be year 15 of running that dance studio. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's been a real joy. I did all the teaching myself for the first 10 years and just really got to know the families so well, and, had students from the age of 8 to 18 and saw them graduate from high school, and just really, really meaningful. So I'm really thankful for that work. Yeah.
Definitely really rewarding when you get to see
is.
them grow up really in front of you. And yeah, that's really special. Neat that it's been able to continue as well. And I'm curious to hear when we get more into, talking about your current role right now, balancing both that and being the chair at Belhaven. So I can only imagine. But pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've been able to hire Belhaven graduates to do a lot of the teaching in the last several years. So that's been neat as well, as my workload has increased at the university. It's great to be able to provide employment to graduates of our program and give them the opportunity to serve in that community and continue to provide access to dance education there.
For sure. So while you were teaching or doing the studio and working some with the International Ballet Competition, when that came around, were you doing any other things as well? Or were you pretty much just working at the studio for a while?
Yeah, I started adjuncting as an adjunct instructor at Belhaven University right around the same time as well. So about a semester out of undergrad, there was a need for teaching some beginning modern dance classes, Modern One courses. So had the great opportunity to dip my feet, in the water, teaching at the collegiate level in a program that I loved so much. So I was able to start teaching there and had you as my student. That was what, 2000? Was that 2008?
I came in 2008. Yeah, 2008, and then graduated 2012. So much fun. Yes.
So that
Modern
was
One.
Early days.
I was trying to think because I probably had you in Modern One. And I know for like senior project, getting to work with you on that, and a lot of fun memories there. So so you were early on teaching then.
Yes, I think it was 2007 when I was first hired as an adjunct. So you were one of my first.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny from the perspective, just the different perspective when you're coming in as a new student, and it's like, not necessarily putting your teachers on a pedestal, but kind of, you're looking up of it to realize like, really, they're not that far ahead in a sense, but there's so much amazing mentorship and, wisdom to glean and everything. And I would not have known you had just started. So it was awesome. A lot of fun.
I enjoyed it a lot. And the opportunity to teach kind of all levels and ages at the same time was really beneficial in my growth as a dance educator, to be, teaching children. And I even had some adult dance classes in Yazoo City for a few years. And then of course the amazing college students at Belhaven to be able to teach there.
Yeah.
And then I was doing so much in kind of dance education and the arts administration world. I also had this desire to keep performing and choreographing. as the young artist, and several other community members and some of the other instructors also had this desire. So we co-founded a dance company together called Front Porch Dance. That was in 2008. And there really wasn't a contemporary dance company in our city and not many in the state. So there was this definitely a need for providing a platform and opportunity for choreographers and performers to be able to work together and collaborate and produce work, and also to share that with Mississippi. It was a great love of ballet, and we were also excited to share modern dance, contemporary dance throughout the state.
It was really neat getting to see a lot of the collaborations that you all would do. And like you said, with musicians and other artists and things like that. And I remember, I think sort of it incorporating a little bit into our program as well, having some more collaboration and through improv jams and things like that, getting to work with musicians, and seemed like that kind of fostered that creative outlet as well in the students as well, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we worked with a group of musicians called the Strange Pilgrims for a few years, and they composed original music, and in our performances, we performed alongside live music. So they would come to rehearsals, and we're working on new compositions as we were building choreography. And it was just so much fun to have that energy of musicians and dancers creating in the same space. And then to take that to audiences was really exciting for audiences who may not know so much about dance, but loved the musicians that would come see the performances, and then they would develop a new interest in dance performance. We traveled throughout Mississippi to lots of cool venues, and so it was really...
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was curious if you went beyond Jackson and got to see different places in the state. Yeah, that's so neat. And there is something just special about performing to live music. I think there's nothing else quite like it.
Yeah. And it's exciting. At Belhaven, we have live accompaniment for just about every technique class now. So we have employed so many amazing professional musicians, pianists and percussionists and guitarists. So it's really exciting to have that energy in the dance studio.
For sure. That's something that I definitely treasure from my time there as well. And thinking back and trying to kind of incorporate that when I can for my students as well. Because it's just different than using pre-recorded music. So love it so much. So I would love to hear, I know the Belhaven Dance Department has developed over time, and that has shifted probably with different kind of generations of faculty and things like that. But I would love to hear just more from you about Belhaven currently, and just kind of the heart and the mission behind it, especially for anyone that happens to be listening that might be interested, going into either an undergraduate degree or even a master's degree. So I know there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, we've stayed true to our mission to prepare students technically, artistically, academically, and spiritually for their careers and for God's unique calling on their lives. And it's a really unique department to be able to study dance at this high level of excellence within a Christ-centered environment. So we're having these conversations with our students all the time about what it means to be a Christian dance artist, teacher, choreographer, producer, manager, how our faith impacts our work. And that's really exciting to be able to have that open dialogue all throughout 4 years with students. And
for sure.
I think at Belhaven, there's a strong emphasis in ballet and also modern contemporary dance. We have some electives in tap and jazz as well, and bring in lots of guest artists to continue diversifying our curriculum and our offerings for performances. We have a strong focus in the dance sciences. We've developed principles of dance health courses, conditioning for dancers, dance kinesiology, so students really begin to understand their bodies and have this understanding of holistic wellness of body, mind, and spirit, and know that dancers need to be able to take care of themselves well to have a long and, satisfying career in the field.
For sure. Yeah.
We recently started a Pilates instructor training program. So students can earn a Pilates teaching certification alongside their degree. So that's very new. And a 5th dance studio was built over the summer in our building, and we bought Pilates reformers and are able to prepare students in both the mat and Pilates reformer equipment.
That's really cool. Yeah. That's exciting.
There's also a big teaching series, so classes in dance pedagogy and ballet teaching methods and modern teaching methods. And students get hands-on experience teaching children from the community with faculty oversight and feedback from peers. So they're not just reading about it or studying how to do it. They're actually getting to practically experience it. There's dance production and dance history courses. There's a careers in dance class all about preparing for the next phase of life beyond college.
Right.
There's rhythmic theory class or teaching about music for dancers. So I think provides a really strong foundation for dancers to go in so many different directions in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Often as I'm meeting with high schoolers thinking about coming, to study dance at college, they have one idea in their mind of what their future may hold or one career path that they're interested in dance. And they come to Belhaven and they realize just the breadth of the field and how many opportunities there are and how many different hats they may wear during their career.
Right.
That's something really beautiful about our field, that you often have opportunity.
True. Yeah, that you don't necessarily stay on this sort of linear, one track path, but may experience a lot of different aspects of the dance world and the arts world.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, I have some friends that definitely ended up falling in love with like the arts administration side or the kinesiology part of it, and going into more like physical therapy after college, and just so many variety of different opportunities that they were opened, like our eyes were opened up to, like you said. So yeah, it's pretty impressive, and it's really powerful when you start when you start to have that exposure to different aspects of the dance world.
Right.
So,
yeah. And a community of artists who are from all over the country and, who have become lifelong friends. It's great to see the relationships that develop among our students and the ways that they encourage each other and also challenge each other. And just such a transformative time, those college years. You grow up so much and you learn so much about yourself and can really, deepen in your faith and in your practice. And it's a great, exciting to be a part of that journey for so many students.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any specific stories of the impact of having that combined focus of, excellence in pursuing dance, but also that faith element and incorporating our faith into our pursuit of dance, I guess? Or any specific stories stand out to you?
Yeah, I think I'm just so amazed with our alumni when I think about, the so many years of graduates now that are serving in amazing capacities all over the world, some working on the mission field, others who've gone on to start dance companies, who are running dance studios, who are performing professionally with companies in the Christian realm, and those that are not, Christian dance companies. And just as they come back, they often tell us these stories of how they've felt being rooted in their faith has been so essential in their career trajectory, that they understand that their identity does not lie only in their abilities as dance artists or as teachers, but their identity can be rooted in Christ, and how I think that foundational time in college has really helped to prepare them. So we've often hired alumni as guest artists, and that's always really special to see them come in now in a teaching or choreographic role for our students and see that cycle continue.
For sure. I think there is such a freedom in recognizing our identity and where our value is found, and that it's in Christ and not in our job role. Because like you said, it can change a lot, or it can just kind of, I don't know, maybe feel like restrictive when we feel like I have to do this in order to find value or to be valuable to the world. But I think that allows like some freedom when you've got that foundation in place, and then you're able to go and, in a sense, like serve in whatever capacity you're able to, whether it's teaching or performing or that kind of thing. So definitely a transformative time for sure. Yeah. And a lot of great relationships.
Belhaven has such a focus on service. There's the big sign across campus to serve and not to be served. And I think we're often encouraging our students to think about, what does it mean to serve your community with these gifts? That the pursuit of dance is not self-serving, but how are we giving of this offering, whether it's to an audience as a performer, whether it's with dancers in a collaborative choreographic process, whether it's how we're mentoring and teaching the next generation as educators or working as administrators and producers, that those can all be acts of service.
Exactly. So good. I'd like to take a short pause from my conversation with Krista to share with you about our Patreon community. Patreon is a really awesome platform where you can support the podcast and get bonus content in return. For the cost of one Starbucks coffee a month, you can help the podcast grow and continue to reach more people. If you'd like to learn more about Patreon and hear a little bit of the exclusive bonus content, check out our bonus episode that released on February 20th. I would love to have you join our Patreon community. You can also learn more directly on our Patreon page at creativeimpactpodcast.com/Patreon. That's creativeimpactpodcast.com/PATREON. Now let's get back to my conversation with Krista. So I kind of skipped over this, but what was the transition like going into, taking the chair position at Belhaven? I know in order to teach at a college level, you have to have an MFA, is that right? Or a master's degree?
Yes, that's a common requirement to have a master's degree in dance. So after I was an adjunct for several years, I really decided I loved this teaching at the university level and thought that it was something I wanted to continue to pursue as a career. So I recognized I need to go get a master's degree in dance.
Right.
So I pursued my MFA in choreography through Jacksonville University in Florida. And it's a low residency program. So I lived in Florida for the summers to study there in residence. And then it was long distance remote learning in the fall and spring semesters.
Yeah.
So it was a 6-semester program finished in 2 years. And it was a great fit for me to be able to, I think I was about 5 or 6 years out of undergrad when I started my graduate studies. So I had already learned more about myself and my interests and had some research goals. And it was a time where I was really excited to meet people from, all over the country and a new cohort of students, and interested to see what is it like to study at a different type of institution. And
Right.
And then the semesters where I was back in Jackson, I was able to apply the work and research that I was already doing through our company, Front Porch Dance, and creative processes I was working on at Belhaven could be a part of my coursework. So it was this kind of beautiful way to continue learning without having to sacrifice the positions and the things that I had already established.
That's really nice that it was able to work hand in hand and each support the other in a way.
Yeah,
sure.
It was a great fit. I learned a lot. It was challenging to do it all, at the same time, to keep working and to be in graduate school, but I have no regrets. I'm really glad I did it. And it was just a few years later that the chair opportunity came open. So it was definitely God's timing in preparing me for that opportunity.
For sure. So what was your thesis project in your graduate degree? What was the research you were doing?
Yeah, I was really interested in investigating the choreographic process as a transformative process and a way to serve and engage community members who may not have formal dance training. So I took a group of Belhaven dance students, and for a year we worked with teenagers in a therapeutic group home who had been in and out of the foster care system. So teenagers who were untrained dancers worked alongside our Belhaven dance students, and we choreographed together. We built a work that was able to express the collective stories, the individual stories of all the participants. So was investigating how to use process-based work to engage community members over a significant length of time. And then they were able to actually perform at Belhaven University as part of our concert in February.
Oh, neat.
And then after I graduated, I did a similar project the following year to continue investigating these ideas with different dancers and participants at the same group home. And it was just a really beautiful time to see young women who were able to use their bodies to express their stories and pain and hope, and to be able to kind of process physically some of the emotions that they were experiencing, and just the growth that can come in a creative collaborative process together, that we were all learning from one another and with one another.
That would be so powerful. And I know it's powerful for us as dancers that have grown up doing dance. I mean, I think that is an outlet kind of naturally that we've already found, but it's still very powerful. And then to think of people that have never really experienced that before, getting to express in that way, just how beautiful that is, just sounds really moving and impactful for them personally, but also anyone that's watching or, being part of the experience. So
yeah. And they're so brave to come on stage, it's a vulnerable thing for any of us to perform, and to have, these teenagers to come alongside our university students and share that together was so powerful for the audience members to witness. And I think we've seen, as years have gone on in dance, just a desire to have all different ages represented on stage, and just that, a dance performance can involve people with all different types of and levels of training, and how that can be really powerful for students and
for
audience
sure.
members.
Yeah. So cool. So once you got your MFA, then, so you said it was a few years later that the position opened up for the chair position. And how would you say that transition was for you, stepping into that role?
Yeah. Well, Cynthia Newland had been the chair for many years and was a teacher of mine and great mentor, and definitely big shoes to fill. She just did an incredible job leading the program. And when she decided to pursue some other opportunities in her life, I applied for the role and was, just so honored to receive the opportunity, and stepped into that position in 2016. So this is year 5 now in the chair position, and I've enjoyed it. It comes with all kinds of opportunities and challenges, but it's just a program that means so much to me, and was able to take over the leadership position at a time where it was already in such a healthy place from Cynthia Newland's leadership, and, really well established and had a strong reputation. So had this just wonderful opportunity to continue growing and improving, and, being able to hire different faculty and staff members over the years. It's been a great privilege, and to see the program continue to grow into its next phase. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
That's great. That's good. I know it's been really fun to watch and be from a distance even, but it was neat. I think a lot of the alumni, we got to come back that kind of the transition year where it was Miss Newland's probably the last concert, I guess. And it was really special to see kind of the changeover, and she's still involved as well, right?
She is, yeah. She's teaching 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So she's still making a big impact and teaching some of her favorite courses, and orientation to dance and careers in dance and choreographing for a concert. So it's really beautiful to still have her
for sure
as part of the community. And
definitely. Yeah. And just, I think it's neat, all of the amazing faculty and all of the different mentors that have come through or are still there, and just what an impact that you guys make every single day for the students that come through, including myself, but also everyone else. One of my favorite things too, that when I think back, is, like you said, the guest choreographers that come in for different opportunities to set work, and then, have those performed in either the faculty concert or maybe for like dance ministry ensemble, that kind of thing. I think that's a really cool opportunity that probably not every program has, or maybe as much of. So, yeah.
So we're bringing in usually 6 guest artists a year. So they're coming to usually for 7 to 10 day residencies. They're teaching master classes in whatever their area of expertise may be, and then working in the evenings to choreograph works for our concerts. So students by audition might be invited to be a part of a guest artist choreographic work, and others are getting exposure through all the courses that are being taught. And that just adds so much life and energy to the department, because we constantly have these new people visiting. Many of them are Christian artists and are just bringing just a wealth of experience. It also provides a great career preparation for our students. We've had students who make connections with guest artists who might be artistic directors, who keep in touch, who, travel there in the summer and maybe get hired by the company in the future. So it's a great way to continue building connections for future employment for our students.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of networking in a sense. And
right, exactly.
Yeah, just building relationships and people. I know I've heard multiple people that say, I discovered just a love for a specific style of dance, or, a company, or those different things through the guest artists that come through.
Right.
So that's one of my favorite things as a teacher now, is to bring in guest teachers or guest choreographers, because there's just such a wealth of knowledge and style and different experiences to share. And it's just so fun to watch that in students, when they kind of, their eyes are opened and they experience new connections, and it could even be things that you've been saying before. It's kind of like probably someone else telling a kid, your child, something that you've been saying over and over, but you get a new perspective on it, I guess.
Yeah, you hear it in a different way, from a different perspective. And I think versatility is so important in our field, the ability to adapt to different choreographic styles and movement approaches and pedagogical approaches. So that really helps our students to always be on their toes, so to speak, to be able to respond to all different types of teachers and choreographers.
For sure. I know the dance world now is very very versatile. And like you said, just have to be so well versed in a lot of different styles if you're in a company that's working with, multiple choreographers and that kind of thing. So yeah, great opportunity and way to learn and grow as a student. So yeah. So with your experiences teaching both at kind of a studio setting and then also in the university, out in the community in different places, how would you describe just your experience being a teacher and a mentor?
Yeah, it's a great privilege to be a mentor for students. And I think that teachers have this responsibility to be a model for their students and someone that they can look up to. And I think, at the studio level, having, for some of these students, a 10-year plus relationship is so unique, where at the university, it's, typically 4 years, and
right, kind of changes over
coming through
pretty
and
quickly. Yeah.
And I may teach, a few classes for each student, but that consistency at the studio is certainly special to kind of watch them grow up. But at the university, there's a lot of mentorship, even through academic advising, and students that we meet with one-on-one every semester to talk about what are our goals, how are, giving evaluation and feedback, but also planning next semester's schedule and registering for courses. But that leads to discussions about future and goals and career and where God's leading them. And maybe I want to add this minor, I'm going to double major, I'm going to shift this. And just to be a part of those conversations and to hear how our faculty pour in wisdom from their own experiences about following God's path for their life. And yeah, I really enjoy those one-on-one interactions, as well as, of course, being in the classroom and just all the activity and engagement there.
Yeah. And I think that's in some ways very unique at Belhaven, although I haven't really experienced a whole lot of other universities, but just the idea that, there's so much care and intentionality with helping guide, the students and really listening to, what is it that God has placed in your heart and what are the gifts that you've been given and how can we foster that and continue to develop those gifts in your life and help kind of point you in a direction that would fit really well. So that's, I think, kind of a special thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of other universities that do that as well. But I think having that element of like, we're listening to the Lord as well and figuring out what is he calling you to. So I think that's really unique and really, really beautiful for sure.
Yeah, all the freshmen at Belhaven take a test at the start of their experience that identifies their top 5 strengths. And those are used kind of in different courses and advising meetings to kind of look at how has God uniquely gifted you? What are the strengths that you have? And how are those serving you in this curriculum and this program? How might they serve you in the future? And what types of careers are you well suited for? And just helping students understand that they are uniquely designed and purposed. And as we learn more about ourselves and our passions, our strengths, our interests, we can look toward careers that will provide that sense of fulfillment in the future.
Right. Exactly. So I know this year has been just something else. It's been very challenging as a leader, as a teacher, and I'm sure that's been very impactful at the college level, just as much as for me at the high school level, and maybe even more so. But just curious to hear, the experience through the pandemic so far and what it's looked like leading through a time like this.
Yeah, I was talking to a mentor a few months ago, and I said, I never expected leading through a global pandemic to be one of the chapters of my story, but here we are. And last spring, we, like most universities, went remote in March. So we were in that shelter in place time and had to convert all of our classes to virtual delivery. So that was a challenge, but also we were able to use all those skills that we have as dance artists, as creators, as choreographers to innovate and to try our best to keep our students engaged remotely. So students were taking live classes over Zoom. Sometimes they were pre-recorded movement activities. Students in choreography and composition classes were now doing site-specific works in their homes and turning them in over film. And, just all kinds of courses were transformed. But we were all in this together of having to, solve these problems creatively as faculty and walking our students through, a new approach to learning and new delivery of courses. And at the same time, there was the emotional, mental weight of what was happening. And almost not quite being able to process it in the moment because we had to,
you just kind of have to keep moving exactly
toward the end of the semester. But, I remember a lot of Zoom meetings with students, that would also just start as check-in, like, how are we doing? And just that ability to still mentor even remotely and check in with, the mental, spiritual, emotional side, as well as, the physical activity that we were trying to continue as safely as possible in, kitchens and living rooms.
Right. Exactly.
So then we were able to open for in-person learning in the fall, which we're very excited about to be able to return with our dancers in studio. But Belhaven's had very clear policies called the Belhaven Promise that all faculty, staff, and students have aligned with masks all the time and social distancing. And there's weekly testing on campus now. So students and faculty and staff are tested every week. And that's really helped to limit the spread, and any asymptomatic cases are, identified very quickly.
That's really impressive.
He's done a great job. So we've been able to keep dancing. We're not doing any partnering right now and have reduced class sizes and are masking in class and in performance. And so it's been different, but there's definitely this joy of coming back together in the fall.
Yes.
You recognize that the community of a dance class is just so special, doing it by yourself with a video camera, laptop, and, your living room is a very different experience than just sharing it with others. And that's something really beautiful about the dance practice, that we're rarely doing it alone. We're almost always in community and rehearsal and classes.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's very true. It's kind of designed around that, which is really, really special. And I think it made all of us more aware of the gift that is, and just, it kind of makes you more grateful when you get that opportunity to be together. And I remember there was one time pretty recently where we had, more of our students kind of just enjoying time together and laughing. And I'm like, I've missed this, just, people being around and just being together and having that community time and that community building, even if it wasn't in a dance class, there's just something special about that connection. And it's definitely not the same on Zoom, but it's still, I'm glad we have the technology that we could do it. Yes. Definitely better than nothing, but
and the students have been amazing. They've had just great attitudes and have shown such adaptability and resiliency amidst these challenges. So we're really proud of them and the way that they've stuck to it and are continuing in their practice and, all pursuing their goals in a different way than they expected. Right.
Exactly. And, I think, I don't know if y'all have seen this at Belhaven, for sure for us, I think there's certain tools that we'll continue to use in the future, even if we get back to, I guess not really back to normal, but it'll be different. But, if we get back to more of a regular in-person flow, but finding like, oh, this is a really neat tool that I didn't know existed, or just some different resources. So have y'all seen that at Belhaven as well?
Yeah, we have. We've offered this class, Dance and Technology, for many years now. And all of a sudden, all faculty and staff had to really understand how technology can augment our practice and experience. And we've also found some processes that we were able to make much more efficient in even how we structured our auditions for ensembles, and just decisions that were informed by COVID protocols that we realized, okay, this could actually work in the future as well. So that's interesting to see. And I think everyone has just developed this sense of, we can plan, but it will likely change. And that's okay. And the kind of this different level of responsiveness to change that has been exciting to see, just that growth in me as an individual, as a leader, but also in our whole team, that we can adapt and we can move forward even as we encounter obstacles and unexpected occurrences. So I hope that will continue to resonate for many years.
That's such a great point. And I felt that a lot this year as well, for sure. Yeah. Just, I've told my students over and over, open hands, like we're going to set a plan, but we have open hands with it, and if something changes, we'll make it work. So
hold it loosely.
Yes, exactly. Well, this has been so awesome. And I love hearing about just your journey and kind of how things have evolved over time. And I was going to ask one follow-up question, which is kind of circling back to the beginning, but, how do you find kind of a rhythm, being able to balance both kind of the outside responsibilities with the studio and family life and everything, with being the chair of the dance department right now?
Yeah, definitely. As far as work, the focus at the university is my primary responsibility as chair, and
Yeah.
the studio, because I have owned it for 15 years. It's a fairly small organization. I'm able to have really efficient processes for managing that from afar and hiring capable staff. So our
That's
graduates are
great.
able to teach. I give them a lot of autonomy when I hire an instructor. I trust them. I know they'll do the work well. And then
Yeah.
of course I try to stay in close communication with the students and the family members and keep everyone updated.
Right.
Yeah, so that's been exciting to be able to delegate and share that responsibility with other alumni from the university.
Hmm.
Yeah, and as far as balancing family life, I have a wonderful partner and my husband, and great support from family members. And we take it
Good.
one day at a time, and looking at
Uh-huh.
schedule and what do we both have to accomplish today as far as work, and how do we also manage everything at home. And
Yeah.
I think this ideal of a perfect balance is elusive, that it's one day at a
Exactly.
time, that we're prioritizing our family and our relationship with one another, and
Hmm.
also doing this work in these careers that we feel called to.
Right. Exactly. I think I've heard that a lot, that balance is kind of not exactly a thing. It's more balance in the sense of, being fully present in those times where you're
Right.
at those different places. And
Right.
yeah, and that there'll be, more intense seasons and then
Right.
there's more rest seasons. And yeah.
And balance isn't static, right? We know that as
Right.
dancers, that there's this movement, there's this shifting equilibrium, and some seasons, some moments of the day even are focus time with my children, where I have to close the laptop and focus
Right.
on serving my family, and there are other times where they're in childcare and at school, and I'm focused in my career at that time.
Yeah.
So I
Makes
think
sense.
I'm thankful for the opportunity to try to juggle both,
Yes.
and surrounded by a lot of great, working parents and mentors as well, who've modeled that well,
Hmm.
and we can go to ask for advice and seek counsel.
Yeah. That makes a huge difference to be able to have those voices in our lives and the community, like you said, people that can lean on and get support from. So
Right.
that's great. Well, I like to ask everyone that comes on the show, what is something that you might have on your heart to share with other artists right now?
It's a good question. I think it's been a tough season for artists
It
all
has.
over our country, all over our world. And, I hope that artists can have hope for the future and can continue to invest in their process on practice, although it may look very different in this
Mhm.
season, that there's still value in the time, the intentionality, the focus that they're placing in their artistic practice, although it may be taking a different form right now, that's going to be
Mhm.
a part of their journey and their story for the future. And I think there's this excitement, even as it's spring outside. We feel this kind of new beginning and transformation, and
Yeah,
a lot
that's true.
of hope for the arts. And I think there's this need for joy, for inspiration, for encouragement, and artists can provide that, now and into the future. So we have an important role, and want to just continue to encourage artists to stick to it, continue investing in your practice, and hold
Yes,
on to hope for the future, and all the different innovations that have come and will continue to come as a result of this challenging year that we've had.
for sure. That's beautiful and very encouraging. It's true. Just keep going,
Yeah.
keep pressing in. Yeah, exactly. And then for a fun little wrap up question here, what is one of your favorite things right now? So this can literally be anything, something really small or, more profound, wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah, I think, as I was just talking about spring, that's what I'm loving right now, is being able to
Yes.
step outside and sense that kind of newness and freshness, and love spending time outside with my children. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a sense of rejuvenation and, refreshment that is coming. So I love that this season, and I'm excited about what the future holds.
Me too. I know there's like a sense of hope that comes from
Yes.
it
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. And I would love to give people an opportunity to, connect in with Belhaven and with you if you'd like to share kind of personally how they can connect with you. So what's the best way to get in touch or to learn more about the dance department?
Yeah, visiting the website is a great way to go. So belhaven.edu /dance is the website, and they could email me at kbower@belhaven.edu. That's KBOWER@belhaven.edu. I'd love to talk to any prospective students or parents or folks who are interested in our program or artists who want to visit. So I'd love to share more about our department. And we have auditions typically in November and February each year. And we are also accepting virtual auditions over video this year and are doing in-person and virtual campus visits. So it's a great time to think about your next step. Any high schoolers out there listening?
Exactly. You never know.
More about Belhaven. Yeah. So check out the university. And we do have a master's program as well, which we didn't talk about a whole lot.
Oh, true. Yeah. Do you want to share a little bit about the master's program? That would be great.
Yeah. So our program, it's a 3-year MFA in dance. It's the only Christian university, faith-based university with an MFA in dance. And our students have the opportunity to apply for graduate teaching assistantships, which enables them to teach courses in our undergraduate curriculum as they're pursuing their graduate studies. And we have a couple graduate students right now that are preparing for their thesis projects that'll be performed next weekend. So we're excited for them and excited to see kind of how they've grown and transformed over the past 3 years. So if anyone's looking to come back to grad school, we'd love to talk to them as well about the uniqueness of the Belhaven Dance Department.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming to share about your story and also about Belhaven's program they have. And just thank you on a personal note for your mentorship in my life and just all that you've poured in, the encouragement. It's really been a blessing in my life. So I appreciate you and thank you for spending time with me today. It's been fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
I loved getting to catch up with Krista today, and I hope you enjoyed hearing more about the Belhaven Dance Program. You can find all the links, the full show notes, and additional resources on our website, creativeimpactpodcast.com. Next week, my friend Bria Greenwood joins me on the show. Bria is currently dancing with Audeum Dance Company, and I'm so excited for you to get to know her. Thank you so much for listening to the Creative Impact Podcast. The music for the show was produced by Michael Cash. Share the show with a friend, check out our Patreon community, and I'll see you next week for my conversation with Bria Greenwood.